FBI agents swarm a former president's home for the first time in American history. A raid at Mar-a-Lago, apparently seeking documents that might not have even been classified. Welcome back to the Dan O'Donnell Show. I am pleased and honored to be joined by Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, who joins us on the phone. Senator Johnson, your reaction to the raid at President Trump's residence?
Good morning, Dan. Well, I was shocked when I heard it. I would say outraged. People need to understand how unprecedented this is. And if what we're talking about is what the news media is reporting, is that if this has to do with federal records. Remember, I did the investigation into Hillary Clinton's misuse of her email scandal with, classified material actually being sent from the territory of one of our adversaries. And, of course, James Comey back then, together with that same cast of characters that led the corrupt investigation of Trump's supposed collusion with Russia, they edited his exoneration email, took out things like grossly negligent, which was a criminal standard, and turned that into extremely careless. So I've seen up close and personal. I've had operations run against me by the corrupt FBI. Setting me up with these briefings that then they leak to the media and smear me. I've got firsthand knowledge of the corruption that is certainly existing within the FBI and the Department of Justice. This is amazing. President Trump, the last day of office, I had to subpoena the FBI because they were not providing the information that we were asking in our oversight responsibility, our oversight duties. They just weren't giving it to us. So we subpoenaed them. They really didn't give a squat. President Trump, obviously wanted information out. And I think the last couple of days of office, he declassified a bunch of things to provide to us. We've never gotten one page of that. I have to scratch my head, and I wonder if maybe that is part of the treasure trove. And did the FBI go in there seize that? Because my guess is some of that information might have little evidence of things that aren't particularly flattering to the FBI.
Wait a second. Hold on, sir.
I just think this is outrageous.
Are you saying that it's possible that the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago to seize records that might show malfeasance on the part of the FBI?
I say at this point, anything's possible. Again, Dan, I subpoenaed the FBI. They didn't even come close to complying with it. I've talked to people that were there and said, "Oh, Dad, they just completely slow-walked you." They could see the end of this administration. I mean, they helped make sure that the administration ended. Again, people have to go back and take a look at the entire 4 years of the Trump administration, and even during the campaign, the torment that President Trump was put through, the corruption of these actors inside the FBI. No, it's pretty jaw-dropping. We literally now have a multiple-tiered. I've been saying two-tiered. I'd say it's multiple-tiered. You've got one system of justice for, like, the Hunter Bidens of the world. Democrats, their connected family, their connected friends, then one for the rest of Americans. Now, there's really a third tier, and those are the targets of the partisans in these agencies. And, of course, Donald Trump is target number one. I'm a target. Again, when you get an unsolicited briefing that tells you nothing, there's no information they're giving you. They're just giving you a briefing, and I knew at that time that this was going to be used against me. And I asked them, who set you up? Who directed you to give me this briefing? Dan, 2 years later, to this day, I still do not know who directed that briefing to myself and Chuck Grassley that they end up leaking about 8 or 9 months later to smear me. No, I have experienced the corruption of these agencies, so I don't put anything past them at this point. I just find this outrageous.
Do you believe there's any chance that this was a legitimate execution of a search warrant. In other words, do you believe there's any chance that any crimes may have been committed? Because the talking point seems to have gone out that, and this is true, you do need to present evidence before a judge before a search warrant can be signed off on and then executed. Are you accounting for the possibility that there may have been a crime or several crimes committed by the former president or someone who may have taken documents and stored them at Mar-a-Lago?
Look, and based on news reports, it sounds like the FBI, Department of Justice, was in communication with Trump's lawyers. They were cooperating. This could be a dispute between, now a U.S. citizen and the Department of Justice. I mean, I would think normally the first thing they would do is cooperate, talk about, what records they're looking for and request them. And if it doesn't provide them, subpoena them would be, I would think, the next step before you start issuing a warrant. Okay? They broke into a safe. Yeah, obviously, Mar-a-Lago is a pretty safe place. It's protected by the Secret Service. Apparently, these documents might have been in the safe. So I don't think they had to worry about document destruction. I worry about document destruction all the time with the information I'm trying to subpoena from, name the agency. Our federal health agencies, the Department of Defense on the DMED system, the FBI, the Department of Justice. I don't send 30 agents, 20 cars in to extract the documents that I requested from the FBI or from these health agencies. But the FBI has that power, and they use it. And it's not like this isn't the first time under a Democrat administration in the recent past we've seen the weaponization of these agencies. Remember Lois Lerner and the IRS weaponized against conservative groups. Again, my own experience with the FBI is setting me up. Okay, that wasn't the only time, by the way. They created false intelligence documents accusing Senator Grassley and I of soliciting, disseminating Russian disinformation. It's completely false. But the intelligence agencies have participated in that little hoax. So, no, I've seen the corruption up close and personal. It's quite honestly, Dan, one of the reasons I decided to run again. Our nation is at a hinge point. Our freedoms are being trampled. The Democrats have a completely vision for this nation. It's not one of freedom. It's of a growing government, a growing dependency, less freedom, 40-year high inflation, rising crime, open border. I can go into that litany as well. I hope Americans, I hope Wisconsinites are paying attention. My plea to Republicans, get out and vote today. You must. We need to overwhelm the Democrats in this primary. And I know we're not going against Democrats, but we just need to show our strength out there. We have to do it. And by the way, if you see any irregularities, we've set up a website. It's wisconsin.protectthevote.com. Again, wisconsin.protectthevote.com. Report that. That's the way we can help ensure integrity in the November election as well. So if you see something, say something. It's important you report that, but it's most important you get out and vote for your Republican of your choice, and then tomorrow unify behind whoever those candidates are for offices.
Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson joining me here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Johnson, of course, also on the ballot in the primary election as he seeks a third term in the United States Senate. Now, Senator Johnson, the raid at Mar-a-Lago happened exactly 3 months to the day before the midterm election. Do you believe that it's a coincidence that there is a law enforcement action against President Trump, who is easily the most polarizing figure in politics, certainly in Republican politics? Do you believe that there was a coincidence here, that this was a coincidence that this raid takes place so shortly before an important midterm election in which Democrats have been desperate to take the attention off of the failures on the economy and put it back on President Trump as it pertains to his involvement in January 6th?
Well, I think it is, and I'll say unbelievable, that the White House claims they knew nothing of this. Is Joe Biden, is the White House lying to us again? Like Joe Biden has repeatedly lied that he never talked to Hunter about his overseas businesses, and now we know he repeatedly did. Or is he that detached? I mean, at a minimum, you'd think when the FBI Department of Justice is doing something so unprecedented, at a minimum, they would give the President of the United States a heads up before they do it. But they claim they had just found out about it on social media. I mean, I don't believe that. But I absolutely do believe that all of these things, I mean, pick your mainstream media headline that has nothing to do with our open border or 41-year high inflation or record gasoline prices or rising crime or lack of baby formula. All of these things are diversionary operations to get the American public's attention away from the disaster that is Democrat governance and Democrat policies. I mean, it's so galling. I mean, we just the Democrats passed the Inflation Reduction Act, and the news media they're just lapdogs. They just repeat the bullet points. Oh, it's going to cure inflation, bring down prices, bring down gas prices, cure climate change. This is fabulous. No, it'll do none of those things. It'll basically do the exact opposite. But again, that's the lapdog media brainwashing those that don't seek alternate information from, like, talk radio, where they actually get the truth.
It appears as though the intelligence community has been at war with President Trump since before he was a president, starting with the investigation into the Russian ties to his presidential campaign, leading to the FISA warrant that allowed them to snoop on Trump campaign operative Carter Page, straight through to the briefing by James Comey in the Oval Office, which essentially gave the green light for the media to release the dirty Trump dossier that then led to years and years and years of investigation into Donald Trump for supposed ties to Russia and Russian collusion in essentially rigging the 2016 election that culminated in nothing. A Mueller report that concluded definitively that no Americans, no one on the Trump campaign, and no one else in this country had any idea what Russia was doing. In January of 2017, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer said this on the Rachel Maddow show. He said that you don't want to anger the intelligence community the way Donald Trump is doing. Take a listen to this.
To take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. So even for a practical, supposedly hard-nosed businessman, he's being really dumb to do this.
What do you think the intelligence community would do if they were motivated?
I don't know, but from what I am told, they are very upset with how he has treated them and talked about them.
What do you make of that quote in the context of what happened yesterday, Senator?
Well, I know Senator Schumer participated in the smear against myself and Senator Grassley. I know that in December 2016, Strzok texted Page, think our sisters, the sister intelligence agencies, think our sisters are leaking like mad.
Yep. Scorned
and worried and political, they're kicking into overdrive. I think that was the signal that this was going to be a diversionary operation. We also know, because my staff uncovered this, okay, there were footnotes that were classified in the FISA report that completely contradicted the body of the FISA report that said, one of the FBI directors, and this Bill Priestley, said, we had no idea that the Steele dossier had any connection to Russian disinformation. No, they knew it as early as October 2016,
right.
And it was in the footnotes. And so some corrupt actor in the FBI classified that so the public wouldn't see it. We again, because we uncovered it, it took us months to get that declassified, by the way. Months. There was no national security interest in there. It was embarrassing. That's why, again, it wouldn't surprise me, let's put it that way, if what this whole thing was about is recovering evidence that would be embarrassing the FBI. Christopher Wray's done a terrible job. Under his directorship, the FBI came in March of 2018 to brief the Senate Intel Committee, basically saying, no, we think the Steele dossier has integrity. So again, I've just seen it up close and personal. We've uncovered evidence of the corruption. But the problem, Dan, is the mainstream media does not report it.
Right.
I mean, what they do instead against somebody like me is they just use pejoratives. Conspiracy theorists, misinformation spreader, all this, but they don't ever say what I, tell the public. Well, what did I say that was untrue? I've been investigating conspiracies, like real conspiracies. You know, the whole corrupt investigation under Trump. What else could you call that when the FBI knew the Steele dossier contained Russian disinformation as early as October 2016 and January 2017 for sure, and yet they allowed the Mueller investigation to take off? I mean, that is such grotesque corruption. And, of course, now we know from a whistleblower went to Chuck Grassley's office that in August of 2020, that was the same month that we got that bogus intelligence briefing, the FBI had a scheme inside the FBI to downgrade any derogatory information on Hunter to basically deep six the investigation. Is that, was I the recipient of that operation, of that scheme as well? No, there needs to be significant oversight of these agencies. This is
Sir, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt you. We are just really running up against the clock here. Very quickly, would you support, as minority leader in the Congress in the House, Kevin McCarthy said, investigations into this raid? Would you hold hearings on this?
Yeah, if I win and we're the majority, I'll be the chairman of the permanent subcommittee investigation, and you can bet I'll be looking into this, among many other things.
He is Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson. Vote for him in the primary today. He is going to take on Mandela Barnes, Democratic nominee. Well, it's not official yet, but it will be. Senator, thank you so much. We always do appreciate your insight. You're listening to The Dan O'Donnell Show.